national security advisor under Donald Trump, John Bolton, has a suggestion for Elon Musk: use all the money saved by the DOGE department and spend it on defense.
The former United Nations ambassador made the comments on CNN yesterday about the DoD budget, which currently sits at $841 billion. Let's take a look.
Look, Musk may have a big role here. It's not entirely clear what Trump is going to do with this Department of Government Efficiency. If we can save a couple $100 billion, I'd be delighted. We can spend it on the defense budget, which desperately needs an increase.
And now, users online are raising concerns about the ability of the department to handle even more money than they have now. One user writing, how delusional do you have to be to say this when DoD can't pass an audit, get massive increases yearly, and has waste and fraud all throughout the department? So will Elon and Trump go for it? Look, I love Elon and Vivek trying to save us money. Let's cut that government waste. John Bolton wants to give it to the Defense Department. The Defense Department just, I believe, has failed yet another audit. I think 7 in a row, if I'm counting correctly. They already can't keep a track of the massive bloated budget that they have. Defense is not the only reason we have too much government spending. Entitlements are a big portion of it. But other than entitlements, defense is the big one. They have tons of money already. It's never enough. No, I do not want to spend the money we save on defense. I want to return it to you, the people.
Well, apart from the fact that I would obviously make a staunch defense of entitlements as an important social safety net, protecting us all from impoverishment and starvation, I broadly agree. Well, I entirely agree, actually, with all that you've said. Oh, I don't particularly care for Elon or Vivek. That's the other point of.
You find them personally distasteful.
I do find them slightly irritating, but that's a whole other question. Look, John Bolton is, of course, as John Bolton does, expressing the standard neoconservative or Republican hawkish position. John Bolton has wanted to bomb Iran for as long as I can remember. I think about 10 or 15 or 20 years now. He is someone who never really saw a problem that he didn't think American military might could be a solution to. And so if there were savings made from the federal budget in other ways, I certainly would not favor dropping them into the already $841 billion dollar pot that is enjoyed by the Pentagon.
Yes, same. It's just, it goes to show you that mindset. Now, John Bolton is not a figure, I think, anymore that is popular with, he's certainly popular with, like, never Trump Republicans. You know, here's another person who, despite having policies that I think are bad and most Democrats and liberals and progressives thought were bad, because he has nasty things to say about Donald Trump didn't listen to him in his desire to have war with Iran. He gets the red carpet treatment. He gets treated as this celebrity anti-Trump person, so principled. What a unique and powerful voice standing up for democracy, etc., because they like the things he says on that topic. He gets to be on CNN and MSNBC, etc., despite, again, advocating war with Iran, advocating just terrible policies, unlimited spending for defense, etc.
He's the male Liz Cheney with much
he is
more.
the Liz Cheney with a mustache.
With much more luxurious.
A very powerful mustache, to be clear. He looks like he's out of, what is that cartoon? Tintin.
Well, before you get this...
He doesn't look like Tintin. He looks like Tintin's friend.
This takes us on a completely unexpected tangent, which is every time John Bolton appears, my mother recalls that there was a British children's TV character of her youth called Mr. Pastry, who I have verified. Pastry? And Mr. Pastry does indeed bear a very striking...
Wow!
A very striking resemblance, as Robby is currently verifying on his computer, to John Bolton. So our audience can Google Mr. Pastry and see that resemblance for themselves.
This was some Irish...
British, I believe. Yes, in the north of Ireland, British TV was shown, and so Mr. Pastry was famous in my mother's childhood.
Amazing.
Now, John Bolton. Briefly, showing my own age here, to your point about Democrats and the changing of the rules, or changing of what bothers them. John Bolton was, of course, himself a recess appointment during the George W. Bush presidency to the United Nations, and Democrats were outraged, perhaps justifiably. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of recess appointments, but now, of course, there's the whole, now he's anti-Trump. Essentially, he gets warmly welcomed into quarters where he was previously excoriated.
Recess appointments alliance, do you think that's what's going to take place to get some of these people over the finish line?
It could be. I mean, I think that...
Couldn't the Senate just refuse to go into recess?
They could, yeah, and that's really the question, whether they will bow the knee to Trump in that particular way. I think they might do. There is a tradition that the Senate doesn't really like to cede its functions to the executive, but there's also a tradition of Republican senators not standing up very strongly to Donald
Trump. That was under different executives.
Exactly. A very different time, for sure.
Trump's going to stand up there and say, in the name of security, the first galactic empire, and dissolve that Senate once and for all.
And that'll be the end of it. Then we will be in the dictatorship that Jennifer Rubin and others have warned us about.
I guess so. Oh well.
Oh well.
One other thing on all of this, John Bolton has been. I think I remember him saying on CNN. He was on with Jake Tapper. It was a year or two ago, saying that. Implying that he was involved in overthrowing various governments. Do you remember that clip of him saying
that?
Yes, yeah. And Jake Tapper just kind of going, "Oh, wow."
Yeah, exactly. It's
like
totally fine. Exactly. It's great. America gets to overthrow governments. Well done.
Totally rehabilitated.
Yeah.
If you're now anti-Trump.
As is George W. Bush himself. I mean, George W. Bush is less.
Well, he'd be more rehabilitated if he was louder about being anti-Trump.
Yeah.
He's quietly anti-Trump, so he's slightly rehabilitated. If he spoke up more, they're begging for him to speak up more. They would give him his own channel on MSNBC or his own show. Rachel Maddow could intro for him.
Well, he's quite.
That would happen.
He's quite rehabilitated by being friends with Michelle Obama these days. But
and we like his painting. I mean, even I like his painting.
Yeah, exactly. But if he certainly went down the full Never Trump route, he could get his own MSNBC slot.
Yes, indeed. Still more to come today on Rising. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back in just a minute.